Hello and welcome to this XR Envision webinar on Power Apps Creator Kit. My name is Éric Sauvé, Power Platform Practice Lead at XR Envision, and today I will guide you through the different components that are part of the Creator Kit. First, what is the Creator Kit about? The Power Apps Creator Kit contains a series of components, Power Apps Component Framework Controls specifically, or PCF as some people may call them. All these controls and components included in the kit use the Fluent UI framework. This helps you easily create consistent, beautiful, and effective user experience for custom business application. Where can you get the Creator Kit? Two main areas where you can get it from. First, from the Microsoft App Source. If you search for the Creator Kit, you can get it there. The other option is to go through the GitHub, and we'll provide the links below for both areas where you can get the different solutions and components from. Once you've downloaded the solutions and imported them in your environment, you will see 3 solutions potentially installed. One for all the different components, one as a reference in model-driven app, and the other one as a reference for a Canvas app, depending on how you want to experiment with the different components. Let's see what these are about. Let's look at the model-driven app. Within the app, you can browse through the different components by categories. As you see on the left, you can go for basic inputs, different commands, menus, and navigation, item, lists, pickers, progress, indicators, surfaces, and different utilities. Within each, you have the components, so the PCF control themselves, with information relative to what they're about. So here, you get a full description on top, then you get best practices information, how to use it, what to do, and most importantly also what not to do. Then below, you'll get the actual control, and you can interact with it and see what happens if you change some of the properties of the actual control. So here, the auto with label, you can play with the size of it, and it will move accordingly. And then you can look at the code that has been used to generate this label, this control, and you could bring it over into your app. As you can see, you can browse through the different one. You can have here, for example, the icon, more information, you can search, you can play with the action button. So do I show a border or not? Do we show a fill when it's selected or not? Do we set focus? Is it align left, center? So you can play with different properties of the control. So each of those have examples, so you can walk through and understand how can I apply this in my model-driven app or Canvas app. So here I have a basic expand menu with the famous or infamous hamburger. I can show how it displays. Same thing with utilities, where you could work with, in this case, elevation. So a bit of like the shadow behind a box, things like that, and so on and so forth. So that's the model-driven app, which displays the different controls that are available, and you can play around with them, understand, and see where would they fit within your app. Another option is to use the Canvas app, the Creator Kit reference app, which provides pretty much the same as you had in the model-driven app, just that here, in this case, we're in a Canvas app, but it's exactly the same kind of reference. So point being, you could provide one of these apps to your Power Apps maker base. So they can go and understand, learn about the controls, and then experiment with them. Another very useful application that you'll find in the Canvas solution, Fluent Theme Designer. With this application, you can change what the colors are for your application and then generate a theme that you will use in your application. So here, as you see, as I change those colors, you get the result right away. Nice thing is you actually get a accessibility error if ever the colors don't seem to be appropriate. So you can make adjustments to try to get into a better situation for accessibility. So here I have 3 errors. If I put it like this, background color back to more lighter color. I get down to 1. In here, I'm good because the contrasts are good, the color, and so on. And I have all the details here about what they are. And from here, what I would do is export the theme, generates this part, and use this in a Canvas app. So if I take this, and let's say I create a new app, so I'll go and create a new solution. In this new solution, what I'll do is I'll add an existing Canvas app, which is the Creator Kit Canvas template. Move it here, so it becomes on Manage. I can go and edit. So the app is already defined with a pre-established theme. Let's go and change it. So in the app on start event, we will change the palette definition here for the app theme variable with what we generated. And let's run the onStart. So as you see, the background has changed, the title and everything. So we just changed the theme for our application. How about the controls? Where are they? There's a second screen. You can just play the screen and see how they've been pushed into the actual application. But let's say you want to add new controls or play around with them. You can either build a new screen or use this one, but let's say we create a new one. The way to add it is either to go through the component, or you can just directly search. And for example, let's say we want to add the face file. I can go and change some of the indicators, so the size, and how do we overflow with an arrow or with a more. So this is how it will work out. If there are more items than the maximum number of displayable, I could put it to 4, for example, and so on. So that's how I configure this component that I brought into my app. Now that we have tested the components in a Canvas app, let's give it a try into a model-driven app. For example, we can look at the component for resizable text area. Pretty basic input that allows a user to resize the text area where they key in the information, horizontally or vertically. To proceed, we go into the Power App Studio, and within a solution that we've created, we just go in, create an app. Here, let's create a simple app that will use an existing table that I've added prior to this exercise. To work with the component, open up the form editor, add the different fields or columns that you want to use. In this case, I'll be displaying the simple text field, which we'll use for resizable text area. Then, for display purposes, I've added the demo height and demo width as references. Add the component. We go in the Components section of the left menu. Within the More Components area, see if it's there. If not, simply select Get More Components. Search within our environment what's available. In this case, we will search for resizable. We just add the component. Once added, it's available for the fields that can use this type of component. To add it, select the field on the right section within Components, select the plus sign, and then the applicable component. Go through the different list of configurable values that you either bind to a specific column within the form or key in static values. For example, we can define a default height, default width, minimal height, maximum height, minimum width, minimum height, and so on. Always consider following the best practices which give you information relative to these configurations. Such as the allow resize. In the best practices, it's preferable to select either vertical or horizontal, but for the demo purpose, we'll leave it to both. Once completed, select Done, then save the form, publish it, go back to your app, publish it, then it's time to test it. Within our navigation, we'll go to our demo table, add a new record. Here we have the sample test box area that we can key in text and resize as a user, horizontally, vertically, and we see the value for demo height and demo width that follow depending on the resize that we've done. And it's also maxed out to the limits that we've defined, up to height of 100 and width of 200.